Hi there, I'm Kathy Sidell. I own Saltie Girl and Stephanie's on Newbury, and I'm here with you today to cook a wonderful New England shrimp scampi. I don't do the traditional shrimp scampi, although I do certainly cook the shrimp bathed in garlic, but I also add some heirloom baby tomatoes. And you'll see I roast them at a very high heat with garlic and thyme, a little bit of sugar to sweeten them up, and I add them to the shrimp scampi. Shrimp scampi is an amazing dish. You can make it just as an appetizer over croutons or a great grilled bread. You can put it in a risotto or you can make it in a pasta. Today I'm doing it on a pasta, but I also have some wonderful French bread that I'm going to griddle up. So either an app or an entree or a starter, it's the perfect, easy dish that will get you out of the kitchen and at the table with your guests. Join me. The first thing I do is I put the water on to boil, and I heavily salt the water because I think it really enhances the flavor of the pasta. Very first thing I do. It takes a while to boil the water. I buy my shrimp in a 5-pound frozen block, which I either defrost in the sink during the day for a couple of hours and then leave it in the fridge to further defrost it, or leave it in the fridge overnight and then they're defrosted. And I like larger shrimp, so typically, I'll do like U10s, U8s. These look like U10s to me, but I'm gonna put them on the scale just, I'm gonna zero it out with my bowl just to see exactly how many are in a pound. But I think if I had to bet, they're probably 10 or 11 to a pound. So I take them, I weigh them, and then I will clean them. I will take all the shells off, probably leave the tail on because I like the red and the way it looks and that you can hold on to the end of the shrimp and it eats better. And I would say, let's see, we are very close to, that's the 10th. This is the 11th to a pound, and 12, 13, 14. I think 7 a person makes a great meal. So I'm now gonna clean them, take the shells off, and take the vein out. So now I am going to deshell and devein the shrimp to get it ready for the scampi. And I just start by pulling off the little legs. They come off very easily. And then I wrap my thumb underneath the shell. And as you can see, the shell comes off very easily as well. And then, as I said, I'm going to keep the tail on because I like the brightness of the red when it cooks. And I take my little paring knife and I make a very slight incision in the back and I grab the intestinal tract. A lot of people don't do this, but I think it makes for a cleaner shrimp. So here I go. Going to do the rest. As I said, this isn't a traditional shrimp scampi, although the base of the dish is certainly traditional. But I get mini heirloom tomatoes and I get garlic and I add a little sugar because you never know whether the tomatoes are really going to be sweet enough. Not a ton, but just enough to coat them and give them some caramelization. And then I add some olive oil, a good glug of olive oil. Always some salt. Always some salt, Maldon salt preferably, and then I put some thyme in. I love the way the thyme perfumes tomatoes, just fantastic. And then I just put it in a baking dish. The oven's preheating to 400, and I'll probably let these go. We'll take a look at them in about a half an hour or so. So as you can see, I have a few pans on the burners. Of course, I have my water, my salted water going. I have a large pan, which I'm going to cook the scampi in. And I have a cast iron skillet that I am going to toast this beautiful, you can see it a little bit, bread in, so I can get a nice crust on the bread. All right, I can feel the flames. Here we go. Let's get the bread out of the way. Move the camera slightly closer so you can get a good look at what I'm doing here. I like to use both olive oil and butter in my scampi because olive oil has a higher heating temperature and butter has all the flavor. So I like doing both. I actually like doing both, not only with the scampi, but as well with the griddled bread. So I'm gonna add oil to both. The big key here is not to overcook your garlic. That's the most important thing. You really want it at a perfect temperature so that it doesn't, it's very thin and it could easily get burnt. So we are gonna get this cast iron pan hot enough so that the bread's gonna have a nice sear on it. And you're gonna be more mellow with the shrimp scampi. So here we go. Let's add to this butter and oil, and I use very good butter. I really think that the better the ingredients, the better the food tastes. I am using pelugra here. I usually use it to bake, but I had some in the fridge, so I thought I'd throw it in. It gives a great, fantastic flavor. And I'm gonna add simply the garlic and the red pepper because, as I told you, I am not only a salty girl, but a spicy girl, and I really like it a little spicy. So I see over here that my beautiful cast iron pan, I cut it on the bias, the bread, so that there's more of a surface area to get crisp. And we'll see, I'm gonna weight it with another pan, and hopefully that will get it nice and seared. You can already hear it beautifully crisping away underneath there. So here we go. Let's turn this up just a tad. I'm being a little too cautious. I've got my shrimp, which is beautifully peeled and ready to go. I'm gonna add a little bit more butter to this. And what I do is I actually add, at the end you'll see, a little touch of Dolan vermouth. People use Pernod, people use all sorts of things. A little bit of alcohol. The alcohol rubs off, of course. Oh, it's already looking so good, this bread. Yes, fantastic. Let's add a little bit more butter and flip it already to the other side. Let's see. Yeah, it's starting to look nice and golden. Which is just what you want. And when you weight it sometimes, it just makes a big difference. Yeah, you can see it. This piece, for example. I could have waited a little on the bread, but this dish cooks pretty quickly. So I wanted to make sure we were ready to rock it. But wow, that looks beautiful. Can you see it? Looks so good. All right. And my garlic is starting to do its thing. I want to make sure it just gets to translucent. Okay, let's put this guy over here and shut that off. So here we are, back in the scampi zone. I'm going to let that just get a little more translucent. I feel like it's not quite there yet. And I'm smelling the tomatoes and the garlic and the little red jalapenos, and it's really, and the bread, which is really, smells obscenely delicious. I'm using today a really beautiful spaghetti, which you can get at Formaggio from Switzerland. And it's a really hearty, toothy, beautiful wheat pasta that I really highly recommend. So that takes about 15 minutes to cook. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to saute these shrimp up now, and you'll see it comes together very quickly, and then I'm going to put it in the oven to finish it. So you don't really want to crowd the shrimp because you want to get a nice little crust on it. But this dish is so easy and really perfect for summertime. Perfect anytime, to be honest with you. Just a matter of what you're eating it on. And you know, as I said, I mean, I like it on pasta, I like it on risotto, I like it just on a piece of griddled toast. So cooking relatively quickly here, and I think I want to, yes, I'm gonna, there we go, that looks beautiful, perfect. So I think you have a fairly good view of that. Let's take a look in the oven. Oh, it's not there yet, and they are not. Oh, I am going to put pasta in. 15-minute clock, someone. Please. Let's see. All right. Here we go. Again, this pasta is just beautiful. And I do want to create enough of a sauce, certainly, in the shrimp, so that it sufficiently will cover the pasta. And I may need just a tad more oil, it looks like. I also am a person who really likes Parmesan cheese with my seafood. Not necessarily something that everyone does, but I'm a firm believer. I love it and can never get enough. All right, so you can see that the shrimp is just starting to curl. I'm just going to cook the other side, but it's starting to look really rosy pink and beautiful, and the garlic is right where it needs to be. It is not too chip-like, and it's got a translucency to it that looks super good. So, there we go. This is really my all-time favorite dish. When I was a child, we would go into the North End on Sunday nights and we would eat at Stella's Italian restaurant, which was all the rage back then. And they would make this table side and they'd flambe it. So I am going to flambe it for you. I'm hoping that goes well. We'll see in a minute. That also, again, creates a really super nice sauce that really lets all the juices of the shrimp meld with the butter and the oil and the red pepper and the garlic and a little hit of vermouth. So here we go. I also would recommend using a pan that you can put into the oven. So you've got to make sure that this is in plastic because I do finish it in the oven. So here we go. The piece de la resistance. A good splash of vermouth, and I think you stay out of the way. I don't know whether you can see that, but it is burning. And it's burning off the vermouth. We didn't get a big pop from it, but we got enough of a pop, I believe. You can really see how it's caramelizing in there and turning into a beautiful sauce. All right, I'm going to tuck this. I mean, they look very close to done, to be honest with you. I just want the sauce to come together a little bit. And let's check on the pasta. All right, pasta's feeling good. Pasta's feeling very good. All right, I'll be back in a second when I check my tomatoes. All right, we're checking the tomatoes here, and they look like they are roasting beautifully. And I am going to do one thing before I pop this in the oven, and that is to add my secret ingredient, which is Calabrian chili. And you can get this in most specialty markets. It's really a game changer, I think, for Italian food. You always wonder, like, what is the ingredient that I don't know about and I don't have, and the chefs do? Well, they use a lot of Calabrian chili oil, and it is fantastic. All right, I think it's time to put these shrimp in the oven. In alongside it goes, and we'll give that a little bit and get the spaghetti ready. It's time for the shrimp to come out. And the tomatoes. Oh yeah, the shrimp is looking just beautiful, and the shrimp juices release themselves beautifully. Yes, excellent. There'll be plenty of sauce for the pasta. I'm going to leave those in just a second longer, and we can take a look over at this gorgeous garlic bread. Yeah, a weight makes a big difference. Okay, I am going to take the shrimp, actually, and place it in a bowl, because when I take the pasta out, I want it to absorb all this beautiful sauce. And then I will lay the shrimp right back into the pasta. But they feel firm and beautiful and perfectly cooked, and they smell fantastic. I can't tell you how good they smell. So the pasta's almost done. Got about 5 more minutes, and as are the tomatoes. So I think I can throw the tomatoes in this sauce right about now. And if you can see, the garlic is still nice and translucent. It just released all its flavors, and I am going to finish it with a big knob of butter. Let's see, where did we go? Here it is. Let's put a big heaping knob of butter in here, because you can never have too much butter, as we know. Finish it. You've got to make sure that you do not touch the hot handle. And let's pull the tomatoes. Beautiful, perfect, excellent, couldn't be better. All right. Okay, smells so good. I'm going to test the pasta because I have a sneaking suspicion that we're ready. Yeah, it certainly feels it. Let's test it. Yeah, it's looking very al dente, which I personally like. But one way to find out. Still a little too al dente. I'm going to finish the dish with a little salt, a little pepper, a little lemon when I get it back in. In fact, you know what? I'm going to do a squeeze of lemon right now for the sauce, because a little acid is perfect to cut the fat. Excellent. Okay, here we go. We're going to pull the pasta. I think it's perfectly cooked. I literally am going to take it right from the pot into the pan, into the frying pan. It's just messy, but nonetheless beautiful. Okay, let's see if I can just dip it all in here. without creating too much havoc. There you go. That's looking beautiful. Perfect. All right. Push this back. We have the pasta now. We have the pasta soaking up all that gorgeous garlic and butter and the little red pepper flakes, and it smells so divine. And then I'm going to add these gorgeous tomatoes and the juice from the tomatoes and the garlic. They all go in. I happen to think that I'm going to serve this right in the pan, because why not? But it's made a beautiful little sauce. It's all perfectly coated, and as we know, the sauce crochant pasta is always key to any pasta dish. And let's add the shrimp back. That is, I think, a quintessential kind of anytime dish, to be honest with you. I am going to add a little salt, because even though there's a brininess that comes from the shrimp, I think you always need a little hit of Maldon salt. I'm going to do a hit of white pepper, just a hint. Just a hint. I'll toss that. And of course, I'm going to do a shower of Parmesan cheese. And there you go.